Alright, while I was installing the graphics card, I went ahead and installed my sound card, basically because if I put my graphics card on the top one, that's going to cover up this PCI slot, so I need to have room for that as well. And since I only have one card, it really doesn't matter too much where you put it on the motherboard. It's when you start to get into SLIs, double and triple and even quadruple, that you really have to know where you're putting your graphics cards. So we got that all done and tightened down. Next we have, well, the rear fan that I need to install yet, and the new hard drive, a terabyte SSD, Samsung 850 Pro. These are their newer hard drives, and they have a 10-year warranty, so SSDs have come a very long way. And they're so tiny. Look at that. If I really, I don't know, I debated about putting one into my PS4, but I do have a hybrid in there currently. For my case, while most of these are 3.5, there is one here, and you can buy more adapters if you need to. That is for 2.5 inch. And you can actually put two on here, according to Cooler Master's specs for the case. So we'll have to screw that on, screw this on the back, and I do have actually one more fan left, and that is going to go into the side for intake. I think we'll finish that up, install the last of this, and that's pretty much going to be it for components other than the optical drives, the Blu-ray drive, and I really don't need the CD drive, DVD drive burner, but it's kind of nice to have a backup just in case something happens or it doesn't want to read a disc for whatever reason. It's always nice to have a backup or a spare. Then after that, we will start getting into the cabling, which is always so much fun. Alright, it was getting kind of late last night, so I kind of stopped after doing this final bit here, where the SSD drive is here and my two other spare drives are here. And back fan installed, and installed the fan on the side panel. So the only thing that's really left to install now is the optical drives, the Blu-ray drive, and my old DVD burner. Now, I know people are starting to say that this isn't, everything's going digital nowadays, but I do make movies a few times a year for family, so it's definitely worth it. This is going to go on the bottom, and the nice thing about toolless design is you don't need pretty much anything. You just kind of like line it up. This is a locking where if you push it once, it's locked. Okay, make a liar out of me. Push once, it's locked. There you go. And then you'll push it again if you want to take it out to unlock it. So those are always nice. Most cases nowadays come toolless design. And we'll put the Blu-ray burner in. And as you still see, I have a lot of wiring yet to do. I'm keeping this panel open because my fan control board is in here, which I'll still need to wire up. Just make sure it's locked. Okay, now that's going to be the last part. I already put on the motherboard adapter for all your pins for the hard drive light. This is pretty much for your top control panel up here. For those of you who don't know, your hard drive light, the power LEDs, the power switch, the reset switch, and the back one is actually for a speaker, for the case speaker. You really don't need that. It's just kind of nice for beeps and error messages and that. But the motherboard also, most motherboards nowadays come with an error LED light down here. And if anything ever happens, you can always reference the error code with the manual just to see what's going on. So the next thing to do will be to wire everything with the power supply. So I'm not going to do too much with cable management right now because we're going to have to make sure everything is working, and we'll post, and hopefully we don't have any memory sticks that are DOA or anything else. Fingers crossed. It does happen occasionally, so always keep your boxes. That's a major tip. Always keep your boxes. Some things have warranties of up to 5 years, sometimes longer, like the hard drive has a 10-year warranty, the SSD. So always keep those boxes just in case. So let's get things wired up to power. So we ran all the power cabling, which all comes down here to the modular power supply. But as you can see, it kind of looks bad in the back, but this is the nice thing about these types of cases. You can just hide all the wires in the back, doesn't interrupt airflow at all. I may have to do some rearranging later, but my main concern right now is we don't have anything DOA and everything posts like it should. Now, one thing I didn't notice with this motherboard, there is no 1394 connection on it, which is for the front panel for the FireWire. So I won't be using that. That's going to be tucked away. And this is also for the front panel, which is the E-Serial ATA. But I never use it anyway, so I'm not even going to connect that. So we have all our fans hooked up, and I only have my one hard drive hooked up. I'm just making sure everything's working when we put power to it. All the fans are connected to CPU 1, and CPU optional is the pump for the block. My hard drive and my 2 optical drives are connected in, so I can install an operating system, obviously. And my fan controller that's mounted in the lower drive bay here. The 2 fans, the 2 200mm fans on top here are connected to that, since I won't have enough room on the motherboard for all my fans. And my side, there is a CPU fan down below here, way down here, and that is where the side panel fan will be plugged into. But that is not going on yet either, so we are going to power this all up and hopefully get a post. Okay, so I have just the basics hooked up right now, which is a monitor, keyboard, mouse, internet, and I will be reusing my Windows 7 OS because I personally cannot stand Windows 8. If Windows 10 is out for beta here pretty soon, and we'll be able to play with it and test it at work, but I hear that they're bringing the start menu back on Windows 10, so I'm very happy about that. If Windows 10 turns out to be like the next XP or 7, I will upgrade, but until then, I will not let Windows 8 touch my PC. I personally just can't stand it. So, moment of truth, let's turn on the power. Looks like all the fans are working. Actually, no, I have one fan that is not turning. Oh yeah, it is. Just couldn't quite see it, actually. Okay, so we have all the fans working. We have a post. Let's see. We have a post? We have post. Look at that. Beautiful. And it sees all our drives. Setup configure F1 to run setup. We'll do that. Now the first thing that we want to do is definitely upgrade the BIOS ASAP as soon as possible. And I like to do that through Windows OS. They have a beautiful Flash software for that. So I'll have to install Windows 7 before I do that, obviously. So in the BIOS right away, as you can see, they give you temperatures right away. Motherboard temp is pretty good, actually. Of course, it's rising a little bit. Looks like the date is right off the bat. So I'll have to do the boot priority, install Windows 7, and I have a lot of stuff to install It looks like it also has all my RAM. So let's get things installed. It'll probably be an all-day project with all the software that I had. Of course, Windows updates takes half a day in itself. And I'll come back then when we have all of that done. And we'll take a look at some of the software that comes with the motherboard where you can control your fans and look at temps and all that stuff, which ASUS is excellent for. See you then. Finally finished everything hardware-wise and software-wise. I ended up putting in the memory coolers just because, oh, why not? It keeps things cooler. It can definitely help for overclocking. And everybody knows the cooler the temps, the better, longer lasting parts will be. But what I really like about this, I'm going to have to change hands here, is the ASUS AI suite here. And it has actually basically auto clocking on it. So overclocking has become very simple for even if you don't know what you're doing. This will do it for you. This will go through a complete whole thing doing your you can do it manually right here, but I'm sorry, that was the wrong one. 5-way optimization. This one here is the automatic one. This is the if you want to do it manually, and I've been playing around with this quite a bit, and I'm up to about, oh, I'm almost up to 4 gigahertz. And this is a 3 gigahertz processor, 8-core processor. So if you want to let the system do it yourself, if you're not worried about, you know, your computer shutting down, because it's going to definitely stretch it to the limits. Your fan expert here, which I actually really like, this will have all the fans in it as to what they're running at right now, what's their high speed that they can go to, and you can manually change this to however you want. Now you can also, how it says unknown here, you can change it, you can change the name of it, and if you don't know what fan this is on the motherboard, like it's, you know, the fan number 4, you can hit this, and what it will do is it will turn off all fans in the case and turn this fan on to its maximum RPM. So, since I already know this is the side intake fan, we'll just watch that when I click that. And I just thought this was actually kind of fun to play with. It'll turn everything off and turn that side one at high RPM. Then you stop it and it'll restart every fan in your case again. So now we know that is the side fan here. And then you can rename this just to match whatever you want. So we'll just say, and it changed on me here. Hold on. Well, I can't get past that first letter here. Side panel. Intake. Oh, it won't let me go that far. Okay. So it won't let me go that far. Side panel, I guess, is good enough. Okay, then you can save the configuration. And you'll have the little graphic up here that'll show the side fan on it. And you can go through and do this with all your fans in the case, which I will definitely be doing at some point. And it also will have your temperatures, your voltages, every fan, what RPM they're running at. If you ever want to change that, you can. Fan tuning, I don't know if you already saw that, but the fan tuning, that's down the bottom here. that basically will do an automatic run of all the fans in your case and optimize them for you. So no manual anything if you don't want to. Basically your frequencies, your phases, energy savings, your basic power saving formula is up top here. You can do auto, performance, power savings, away mode, and each one of these you can actually tweak. So you can do the monitor if you want it to, you know, never go off after so long, after 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever, and put it to sleep. Away mode. That was the auto setting. Performance. Your power saving plans. It gets real detailed, which is cool. It's definitely more detailed than I will ever go through. Definitely by far, but I love ASUS's software. Always have, and they've definitely outdone themselves this time. Although it's probably been 4 years or so since I built a high-end PC for myself again. I've built PCs for others, but never got into the details. I kind of just built them, and here you go. And I got all my software back, the newest versions of everything. So hopefully this will mean I won't have any more issues of Elgato saying that my system is too slow anymore. And it was almost a perfect build. But this fan controller, extra fan controller that I put in here, I found out 2 of the front connectors up top are dead. They're not working, so I'm going to have to write a little letter to ASUS, and maybe they'll send me a replacement controller for that. Thankfully I had a Y-splitter for the top 2 fans. I just connected these together and then put them in, I think, port 3 of the fan controller, so that's nice. And I don't think you can hear it right now. The microphone's on top of the camera. You can kind of hear it. It was worse earlier, but it seems to have kind of settled down now. It's kind of odd. That noise, if you heard it, it kind of sounds like a 56K modem trying to dial up to the internet from 1995. That is actually the water pump on the block. Kind of surprised me, actually. So I'm going to wait a little bit and see if it's just, you know, it needs to be in use, I guess, or I'm not exactly sure why it's making so much noise, or was making so much noise. It's gotten a lot quieter over the last few hours after doing installs and all that stuff, software. So if that noise ever comes back or it starts getting louder, I'm going to have to probably change my water cooler out. But right now, it's really nice and quiet. Every once in a while you can hear a little tick. And that's the water pump. Otherwise, everything else on the case I'm real happy with. All the fans that I bought to replace the old fans, this makes this case even quieter than it was before, and I'm really happy with that. So this is my new PC build for 2014 going into 2015. Hopefully this one will last me without too many more updates over the next 5 years, until it gets outdated again, because as you know, electronics go like that. So next up, you will be seeing an update from myself, and basically one of the reasons why I built this PC. And this PC basically came as an early Christmas present from my wonderful husband, who is doing really well. The recovery is going really well for him, and hopefully it'll be a full recovery here within the next month or so. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build as much as I enjoyed building it. I am having a lot of fun with all the new bells and whistles. One quick note to add, if you guys want to look at the specs of all the parts that I purchased for this build, I will link them probably pretty much all of them to Newegg because they give the best specs for each individual part. I did not buy them all at Newegg. They came from a few different places. Because of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I got some good deals. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer them. And I'll see you in the upcoming update.